I can't go another year. No, I can't be up in here complaining. Gotta let them know I'm famous in my. Listen here, I'm here for the world to hear. And I'ma make sure they know what my name is. I just wanna end up famous in
I'm so serious, probably why they be so damn curious. They furious, Easy got these ladies on some silly shit. Now what the dilly is, I'm going all out. Hey, I'm the talk of the town while y'all just saw a mouth. Here's a story about my quest to be rich. I'm like Beyonce and Kelly on some Destiny shit. Mr. 6 Mile, look me up, I'm somewhat a dream. Got my city like an addict, guess it's somewhat a fiend. For my team, anything less is uncivilized. Surprise, I'm seeing this world through clear eyes. And haters only made me more inspired to bless. On the clock right now, what the hell is the next? Like that feeling in your chest when you're ready to leave. Like that memory you had, you just couldn't believe. And we always got a little ammunition for y'all, cause we remember when they wouldn't even listen at all.
Listen here, I can't go another year. No, I can't be up in here complaining. Gotta let them know I'm famous in my. Listen here, I'm here for the world to hear. And I'ma make sure they know my name is.
In 97 on Gunston and 6 Measy, the streets made a natural born hustler. Believe me, drop real with it. That was my first EP. Grind harder than granted, but made it look easy. Take it to the top, that was the plan. Now I'm known worldwide from Detroit to Japan. 14 years span. Fuck hot nigga.
What up, though? Did y'all miss me? We back. Me and Chuck back on the scene. Welcome y'all
What's
to
up?
welcoming y'all to another episode of the Jackson Report. We back live in effect, Chuck. So what's been up?
What's been up with me? More like what's been up with you. I haven't seen you in 3 weeks.
Hey, it's been work, and a little bit more work. And today I just kind of played hooky on the OT so I can make it here because I couldn't go 3 weeks, 3 whole weeks without talking to my peoples. So I'm wondering, I know I had everybody glued in. I told everybody 6 o'clock, but it wouldn't be me if I didn't make a grand entrance and start a little bit later than 6. So I had to give y'all time to pick y'all phones up, flip your monitors open, and tune in. But this week, Chuck, we got a live one for them. Like I got a lot of stuff I really want to get across to the people because in this 2 weeks I've been not here. I guess the coronavirus cases done shot back through the roof because of the new Delta variant, and a lot of states is shutting down. Like, a lot of y'all just don't know. Y'all on the brink of going right back into quarantine. So all y'all that had them quarantine booze and cut them off because y'all thought it was going to be a hot girl summer might want to circle back around the block and pick them right back up because everywhere but Texas might be going back into quarantine, but luckily and unluckily for us, we got a governor who just like feels like we walking to the beat of our own drum. So y'all might shut down, but y'all will look at the TV and see we still open, and everybody will be flocking to Austin and Texas once again as if we not crowded enough down here. But it's crazy because it was almost getting back to feeling like Austin was being back Austin again. Now it's almost like we in this gray area of like, is we going to shut down? Is he going to start closing up the restaurants and businesses again? Because the case is spiking up. And from what I was told, don't quote me on this because this hearsay. And if Chuck ain't pulled it up and we ain't researched it, I really don't just go with it like, hey, y'all, this was going on. But I was told that a lot of us that's vaccinated is still catching this Delta variant, and we the spreaders of it. But for those that's unvaccinated, y'all catching it, and it's mutating to an all-new variant that's more deadly than the coronavirus, COVID-19 itself, and the Delta variant. So it's seeming kind of crazy to me how all of this stuff is coming to be when we thought we was just getting back to a little bit of normalcy. So it's like, what's going to happen in the next upcoming months with all this stuff going on? Like there's ACL coming up and all of these different events that's been reopening, and Barbecue Fest. A couple of my favorite events, Worst Fest down in New Braunfels is coming up. And I'm just wondering, how is all of this going to be with this new case spike? It's almost like we went from being on the plateau and it was bottoming out to now we back at stage 5, I just read today. So like last year at stage 5, it was like everybody stay in the house. Don't come outside. If you ain't got to get nothing from the store, stay your ass at home. Now it's like we in stage 5 and Abbott is like, we done been making too much money. The money back circulating in the economy. We not shutting down shit. We gonna let them keep going. They responsible. And honestly, just my little humble opinion. I mean, that's one of the things that I do admire about Texas. Texas is a prideful ass state. Like I do admire that. It's almost like a gift and a curse. Because when you first get here, if you're not from Texas, it's just like Texas, Texas, Texas. So you be like, where I'm from. But after you be here for a while, and you see how the state just moves in its own accord. Like it's almost like there's the United States of America and then there's Texas. Like it's almost exactly like that because everywhere else is almost like in a panic. And Abbott is like, look, I got a state full of responsible adults. I'm not finna keep taking money out their pocket. I'm not finna keep making them stay in the house and not be able to do their dailies because think about it. Everybody now seems like it's back to normal in Austin. Like I knew it was getting back to normal when I got on 35 and it took me like almost an hour to get to work one morning. And it was like, oh yeah, we getting back to normal. Cause at the height of the COVID-19, I could leave out for work 5 minutes, 5 minutes to the time it was time for me to be
I
there.
remember that.
And
So I just actually found something. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. It's the daily new cases in Texas. It's like a graph, and on June 8th, there were 0 new confirmed cases,
so in 2 damn months.
and now on August 6th, 4 days ago, 23,000 new confirmed cases in one day.
In one damn day?
Yeah.
Shit. So see, I don't know who's spreading it. I'm not going to point fingers, but put a mask on. Give a person 6 feet. I guess it's time to be a little bit more responsible because it seemed like everybody got carefree after all of the stimuluses was coming through and the cases started bottoming out.
I saw a good amount of people pointing fingers at Lollapalooza.
Oh, wow.
Because it was just a huge crowd of kids.
Oh, yeah,
no
I saw
masks.
that. It was crazy at Lollapalooza.
But I think there's also been tons of like sporting events. Like the Chicago baseball stadium has been full many times.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like 100,000 people each time.
All the time. And then you just could imagine the beaches in Florida, Galveston. I mean, it was almost like they opened the world up like, look, it's cool. Everybody getting vaccinated. We good. Let them back outside. But you got so many people that felt so many different conspiracy theories when it came to this vaccination. People was like, oh, they putting a chip in you. Oh, people catching it and dying and doing all of this stuff. Now, it's being said in the upcoming months, all of the people that did get vaccinated going to have to take a booster shot. So it's almost like the pendulum can sway either way. You could either be a believer and be like, yeah, COVID-19 is running rampant. Like if you know somebody that caught the virus, and a lot of people went through tragic experiences because of the virus, had family members pass away, had friends pass away. So if it hits you on that front, then you know it's real. But you still got a lot of people who like, ain't nobody around me got sick, so how real is this? Thinking it's a government conspiracy, all of these different things. But needless to say, regardless of what you think, better safe than sorry. If you know you're going into a crowded area, you know you're going into a public venue, whether you think it's cool or not, put a damn mask on. It's better safe than sorry at this point. Like, Do you want to end up in that hospital bed and you got to get on a ventilator? Because from what I was researching this whole time during this virus, to me, people was thinking of it like, oh, COVID-19, that's a death sentence. I looked at it differently because every case I saw where the person ended up on a ventilator, other than a few, once they got on the ventilator, it was a wrap after that. So to me, the actual catching of COVID-19, because I know a few people that done caught it and walked through it like it was a day at the beach and back normal, but the lasting effects of it, I hear, the reoccurring effects, like you might be sore, you might not have the same energy and all of this stuff. But for the most part, just mask up. Wash your damn hands. If you know you got a cough, cover your mouth. I mean, it's crazy that it took a virus to make a whole country be more mannerable. Wash your goddamn hands. Don't sneeze in nobody's face. Like, don't be breathing on down nobody's damn neck. Give them 50 feet. Back up some when you in line.
Ozymandias Amateus Fox makes a good point in the chat. He said, no vaccination is a one-shot deal. They're administered semi-annually to annually every few years, depending on a few different variables.
Oh, yeah. Now, that's true because think about it. With the flu shot, they offer it every year. Everybody go take a flu shot.
It's always a slightly different shot than the year before.
Yeah, so what is going to be like next year? Because if it took 2, you had to take 2 of them this year. How many are you going to have to take next year? Like, we had to up the dosage. Now we got to stick you 4 times. So you're going to be taking shots for a whole damn month come next year. Like, that's the crazy part about it. But the crazy part to me is just the unknown. It's the uncertainty because anybody could tell you anything. Like, one thing about it, regardless if we like it or not, people lie. And if they do it for no reason, you got a lot of people out here saying they vaccinated just because they don't want the drama or the consequences behind saying, well, no, I'm not vaccinated. And if you not, that was your choice. I mean, if you not and you don't walk through this whole pandemic and nobody in your family caught it, you didn't catch it, kudos to you. God truly had his hand on you. But a lot of people around me that I know either caught it or knew somebody that caught it. So for people like us, it hit home and it was a real thing. So a lot of people I know that may have even been against the vaccination at first have been vaccinated now. And I mean, even I talked all kind of cash shit on the show about not being vaccinated and all that. But like I said, I love my parents. And the fact that my parents was immunocompromised, I was not finna risk it because there's no way I'm not going to be able to go home to see my parents just because I wanted to be a conspiracy theorist and say, I'm not taking the shot because they putting a chip in me. I mean, and for the people that feel like that, the chip already in you because you carry your cell phone all day. You drive a car. You turn your TV on. You got a Fire Stick. You got a computer. Like everything that is technical can be monitored.
I think the main fear of the vaccine is just the fact that it was rushed out and they feel like it might have harmful effects on the body. I think the whole tracking microchip thing is kind of a meme at this point.
Yeah, but see me, the only thing I said when it was rolling out, I'm like, the choices is like kind of wow. Either you gonna choose Johnson & Johnson, and I'm like, them motherfuckers don't even make baby powder right at times. I know people that done got rashes and shit from damn baby oil. I'm like, Moderna, never heard of them. And then it was Pfizer. I'm like, the people that make Viagra finna save the world. So it was like, at the very least, the way I looked at it, it's like, okay, at the very least, I'll take the Pfizer vaccine. Because if worse come to worse, at least I know I won't be one of those older guys that suffer from ED because I done got pumped with liquid Viagra, if nothing fucking else. I mean, so the truth of the matter is, all jokes aside, be accountable for yourself. Stop listening to the social media experts that come on social media and try to be influencers. Don't follow the narrative of the media. if you feel like you should get vaccinated for your own personal reasons, do that. That's the problem with people. Like, it's more followers than leaders it is in this world. Like, one person to say, I'm not going to do it. And the whole group around him, yeah, well, it's not cool if I do it, so no, I ain't going to do it. I mean, think about it. I'm around a group of people, and we all was talking cash shit. But at the end of the day, when I went home and sat and thought about it, it's like, I got to be responsible because this about more than just me. Like, I can potentially get a lot of my family members sick with everything I'm doing. And the fact that I do live, and it's like constant people in and out of my car. It's like, I'd rather be safe than sorry. Like,
And as Danny just said, his mom got it even after getting the vaccination. So,
and see, I mean, one thing I did take into effect, just because you vaccinated does not mean you're incapable of catching it. It just means it's not going to be as severe on you as it would to somebody that's unvaccinated. That's just like people that get the flu shot. They still catch the damn flu, but you don't hear about them catching the flu and ending up in a critical condition in somebody's emergency room. So I say all of that to say this. Here's the point I'm making with talking about all of this. We at a stage now, and I feel like the whole country is following suit. We at a stage right now where we almost right back where we started in March of last year. We almost back to them like, you know what? It's running too wild. Let's shut it down. So if you're looking,
I don't think another shutdown is going to happen.
no, I don't think for us it is.
I don't think business owners are going to let that. Like, if they try and shut everything down again, I think there literally might be like riots in the street.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think, I mean, technically, it just depends on how they shut it down. If they shut it down like
the same way as last time,
oh, it's gonna be horrible.
Yeah.
If they shut it down just like, look, we gonna put y'all in the house, jobs start calling you like, we gotta cut you indefinitely because our funds running low and all of that, I think it'd be mass hysteria then. But if this administration that's in office now makes it a subtle transition into everybody going into quarantine, like, look, we know y'all got to quarantine. Here's what we gonna do. And they start doing them $2,000 payments monthly, like it was proposed during the last pandemic, it might help with some of the business owners. And I feel like there's ways to do it. See, this is why Neezy for president in 2024. I'm telling y'all, look, this is why I feel like how I would do it. You shut it down far as like the citizens go and patrons. You allow businesses to remain open, but they can't have any employees. I mean, just enough to make the carry-out orders if it's a restaurant. If it's a bar, it has to be, if you don't have an outside patio, you can't be open. You know what I mean? And still cut the capacity of the bar down back to 50%. I mean, we got to curve it some kind of way. You cut it down to 50%. That'll slow it down too, because you think about it, the first time they did that soft opening, it seemed like it would have worked. People was abiding by it. But once he said, mask off, we don't give a damn, everybody back outside, everybody literally was back outside. Like, Rainy Street on the weekends looked like spring break in Florida every Friday and Saturday. Like, it's crazy on Rainy Street. 6th Street back crazy again. Like, I'm quite sure the Riverwalk in San Antonio is back crazy. All the downtown areas in these major cities. Houston, the ocean and the waterfront, oh my God. Like, there's ways to curb this if he shut it down the right way. But if you send people in the house and just let them be in the house again and the future be uncertain, they don't know how their finances gonna add up at the end of the month, then I think it'll be riots. Then I think people will go crazy and all of that stuff. But speaking of how we was almost back to being normal, could we be on the verge of seeing ACL get canceled again because of how high the cases done spiked?
That's a good question. ACL is pretty soon. It's in about 2 months.
Exactly.
So I bet they're having some like backdoor meetings, probably daily. That's like they're trying to figure out whether they're keeping it open or not. Because Austin, especially, I read something the other day that says there's only like 16 ICU hospital beds left in the region. I'll try and
Damn.
find that right now.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny that you say that because today, on my way to work, I stopped like at the same 7-Eleven right there on 15th in San Antonio, Chuck. I'm quite sure you're familiar with it because it's in the area. But I stop there every morning. And this morning when I stopped there, I ran into a UPS driver. And we was talking about that. And he was like, dude, if people not taking it serious, they should, because of the simple fact of, I think he said his mother-in-law was due to have brain surgery, and they pushed it back just because there's no beds available in the region. And I'm like, something as major as brain surgery, that should give y'all an idea of just how severe the cases have gotten in Austin. Or I would say in the whole little Austin metro area. Like, I could only imagine if it's like that in Travis. But see, by county, it breaks down different. But I think we do have the most cases right now in Travis County. I think Travis County, I think we topping the state.
Look, I found it. With COVID cases spiking, only 16 ICU beds available in region,
That's
Austin health
fucked up.
officials warn. That's from July 30th.
Oh, wow. So if it was only 16 then, if they spiking every day, it's got to be fewer than that at this point.
Yeah, there's a chart
It got to be.
that's showing people that are hospitalized in Travis County.
Mm-hmm.
The graph starts at March 18th and goes to today. And we are at 569 today,
Oh, so
which is damn near the highest it's been in the
Damn.
last 6 months.
Oh, see, and all of this coming on the brink of all of these upcoming events. Like, because I got tickets to a few upcoming events, and now I'm on the fence, like, wondering. Like, I had a trip in mind. It's like I got a trip in the works to go to Mexico. And it's crazy because if these cases keep spiking, are they going to start canceling flights? Are they going to start shutting down borders like they did the last time and allowing international travel? And then you got to think about it. People been going to Cancun, like 40 going north, and Cabo and all of that. And if you can recall, what was it, the Cabo 44 it started off as last year?
Yeah, I remember that.
At UT, all of the whole sorority went or something.
I actually
like
knew
that.
a girl that went to that.
Oh,
and
wow.
She was like freaking out when she came back because she was all over the news. Like, not her specifically, but she was there, and she was like, this is like international news right now, and I'm part of it.
Like, damn, yeah, that had to be a feeling. But did she actually have a virus though?
I can't recall if she got it or not. I don't think she actually got it. So she directly didn't add any numbers, I don't think, but she was definitely there in Cabo with a bunch of UT students.
Now, see, that's crazy. And now, see, I have to ask you this, Chuck, because, you know, normally you my co-host, but today I have to ask you, like, what was it like? Because out of all of us, you the only one that knows firsthand. Like, when you first heard the news, did it, like, shock you when you tested positive? If you even care to talk about it, and I'm sorry, like, putting you on blast.
I tested positive. I took the test on January, like, 13th or something this year, and got the positive test result on January 16th, and proceeded to crash my car that day. Completely total it. It was a bad day.
Damn,
so,
that was the day you flipped the car on the same damn day.
Yep.
But see, that's why we started calling you Chuck OG. The dude was positive with COVID-19, flipped his car, got up and called our homeboy like, hey, come get me. Car's totaled. We need to see this.
Yep.
And walked away from it unscathed. So it was blessings, but it didn't hit you severe.
No, I didn't really get sick.
So you was just like asymptomatic then.
Mm-hmm.
And it's crazy because a lot of us could have been. Like, I took so many, man, I had that Q-tip stuck up my nose so many damn times, Chuck. Like,
And it was surprising because the pandemic started, really going into effect in March.
right.
And I didn't get the positive test result until almost a year later. And I'd gotten many tests in that time.
Exactly. And you know what? That just was almost like, okay, we know you're not gonna take the vaccine, so we gonna give it to you, let your antibodies fight it off so you could be straight.
Mm-hmm.
And now me,
Well, I actually did get the vaccine.
you did? You
I
got
got
it now?
2 shots of Pfizer about close to a month ago, I'd say.
Okay. So you vaccinated. That's what's up. Like me, honestly, all of the tests I kept taking and all of the tests I was taking, like anytime it was a scare, I'm like, let me take a test. I got to do it. Like, it's almost like you take the test and you sitting back anxious, like you waiting on your girl to come out the bathroom from taking that pregnancy test. And you sitting there like, oh my God, please don't let it be positive. Please don't let it be positive. Please don't let it be positive. And each time it just started getting more and more like, it started getting to the point where it's like, let one of them be positive so I can just get it over with. Because I'm tired of the whole fear mongering thing. I'm tired of it. And like, is it going to kill me or am I just going to fight it off like a normal cold?
Yeah. Well, did you get it?
Nah, I honestly, through the grace of God, God didn't see it fit for me. But I honestly think, because remember they were saying it touched down in America in December of last year, and we just was unaware of it. I honestly feel like I potentially had it near the end of the year, beginning of the year in 2019, 2020, because I had got horribly sick and I thought it was strep throat. Like I couldn't swallow. It was like I was swallowing needles. I couldn't breathe. And I'm like, what the hell is this? I went to the hospital and I figured they was going to say strep throat, give me antibiotics. They gave me antibiotics. They said, oh, no, you just have a normal throat ache, but you got an upper respiratory infection. And remember, beforehand, they just kept diagnosing so many people with upper respiratory infections. And it was like I went home. I started feeling better for about 3-4 days. That 5th day, I could not get up out the bed. I was in so much pain and couldn't breathe and all of that. I couldn't even go to work. I went straight back to the emergency. They gave me they put me on an IV, and I think either I fainted or they gave me some kind of anesthesia because when I woke up, they was draining fluid off my throat and it was a bunch of mucus.
Wow.
And I instantly felt better after that. So the next day I was back at work. So if I did have the coronavirus at the time, I spread it like a mug, unbeknownst to me, because at the time it was unknown. So that was, I think, my stint with it. Like my parents was telling me, my dad thought they had it because they was sick for weeks, though. They was like down and out for weeks. Me, it was like maybe a week and a half, almost 2, and I bounced back.
Interesting. I haven't heard of anyone catching the virus and then having to get mucus
Drained out their throat. Yeah.
So it might not have been COVID.
And that was my thing. But they were saying when it first started, COVID, it was the reason people was dying is because it was a bunch of mucus buildup. And so once I heard that and was like, damn, they drained mucus off my system. I don't know. Maybe either I had COVID or I had the starting stages of a deadly pneumonia strain or something. But an upper respiratory infection, nah, I don't think so. Because it wasn't like my chest was feeling constricted when I couldn't breathe. It was almost like I was getting strangled.
Wow.
It was crazy. Like I had never, ever, as many times I done been sick, I had never felt like that. Like normally I just tough it out. I keep going to work and be like, yeah, taking different cold medicines. But for me to go to the hospital when I don't like hospitals,
Yeah.
it was something. So either it was the COVID-19 or it could have been COVID-18 for all we know. We don't know. Like all of these, they just coming up with names for strands. Like, cause my thing is, who thinks of these names? Who thinks of the names of the strands?
Well, it's the Delta variant. There's the Lambda variant.
yeah,
So they're using the Greek alphabet to name
Right.
the variants.
right. So it's like COVID, Delta, Lambda. Like, come on. The next is gonna be like it's the Foxtrot variant, and we all it's coming
I'm
through.
gonna try and find a meme.
Yeah, like
Give me a
it's almost like right when we thought we was gonna get back to being the country we once was, and everybody moving and grooving and shaking again, and all of these winter events coming up. Like, cause I know in Michigan during the winter time, it's the winter blast. It's all kind of stuff that go on in all these respective states, and we gonna shut down again.
Damn, I couldn't find the meme, but it was like it's a guy on the plane, and the waitress or the flight attendant is giving him a beer, and he's like, "Hey, thanks for the Corona," and she goes, "You're welcome. Thank you for choosing Delta."
Oh
It's pretty
hell
funny.
no, that's so. That's how they coming up with it. They look. It's like somebody sitting back at the CDC looking at commercials and like, oh, Delta flies there. That's the variant that's going around. Like Lambda. I'm like, come on, ain't that the fraternity that the nerds was in on the movie?
I think there's like an Epsilon variant as well, but I think it like got stamped out or something. I think it was in Japan. I'll check.
Oh
real quick.
wow, like it's just mutating all over the place, and they just coming out with all of these different strands and different variants and all this crazy stuff, man. Like it's just a wild time that we living in America. Like it's really wild because I was talking with Gary the other day, and we was just chatting it up, and I was talking about how somebody had informed me that right now China is accountable for 60% of our economy right now.
Mm-hmm.
And if Saudi Arabia is accountable for the other 13%, that means we only own 27% of our own economy.
Yep.
That's fucking crazy. Like, dare I say this on my first week back in front of all of these people, dare I say this? Was Trump really that bad of a guy, or was he knew something that we didn't?
Honestly, at the risk of sounding a little crazy too, I just finished listening to this Joe Rogan podcast that just came out with this lady named Yeonmi Park, who escaped from North Korea when she was 13.
Oh, wow.
And that was in 2009, so she's like 25, 26 now.
Uh-huh.
And she goes through these horror stories of what it was like growing up in North Korea.
Uh-huh.
And listening to that podcast, I was like, that's like what's happening there is literally the Holocaust. It's like really bad what's happening
Yeah.
there. It's a dictatorship. It's horrible. People are starving. And I was talking to a friend, and he was like, dude, I'm actually down. Like, I could get behind like a literal war with North Korea. And I was
Damn.
like, well, that would mean also starting a war with China. And
I don't think we gonna do it.
yeah, it was a crazy
Yeah, and see, Trump was on
but
the verge
yeah,
of that.
yeah, and that's the reason I brought that up was because the girl in the podcast was actually giving some credit to Trump because she was like, yeah, he was not only hard on North Korea, but he was hard on China too, because China's
Their
very
ally.
closely connected to North Korea.
Yeah, and honestly, I think that would be the start of the Third World War.
Mhm.
Because if he came down on North Korea and China, of course, China is allied now with Russia, who for the longest been kind of just like they got that love-hate relationship with the United States. It's almost like we know y'all got as much nukes as we got, so we got to be cool with y'all because we the two big dogs in the yard. But all it takes is one person to be like, yeah, we got y'all, and yeah, we'll turn on y'all too. It's almost like Russia is that sketchy homeboy that you just don't know, like whether he gonna help you or he gonna turn around and be fighting him in the end. It's crazy like that because with China account for 60% of our economy, China playing the art of war with the United States. And I wonder if our administration is smart enough to see that. But sometimes I feel like Biden a little bit too passive, and he just like, yeah, I wanna reconnect with all of our world friends, and I wanna rebuild these treaties. And it's like, you don't understand. Right now, the United States, the US dollar is backed by nothing. China trying to make the yen the world currency right up under our nose. And if they own 60% of what was supposed to be the strongest country in the world, you think about it.
I'm looking at a thing right now that says the direct economic and financial exposure of the United States to China is rather limited. China accounts for only 7% of total American exports, which represents less than 1% of U.S. GDP.
Oh,
So
it's not
where'd you
that
get the
deep.
60% from?
It's not that deep. I was talking to a Lyft passenger. That's why I said don't quote me on it. But I was talking with a Lyft passenger, and he was saying that like,
That's coming from realclearmarkets.com, so take that with a grain of salt.
yeah. I mean, you never know because you think about it. And when he said that, I started thinking about it. A lot of stuff you pick up, if you flip it over, it does say made in China, made in Taiwan, made in Thailand. Like, I've yet to flip something over and see made in Detroit or made in Milwaukee,
Yeah.
made in Gary, Indiana. Like, I've never seen none of that stuff. Every time I pick up something that's of value, it's made in some European country or China or something like that. Think about it. All of the luxury cars that y'all love is made in European countries. Think about it. Ferrari, the only luxury car that's made here in America is what? The Tesla?
Maybe Lexus? Is Lexus an American?
Yeah, I mean, Lexus is made by Toyota. So,
Okay. Never mind. Yeah, it's
like,
Japanese.
Exactly. So it's like the luxury cars, like, I don't know, is Lamborghini or Ferrari maybe made in America?
Those are Italian.
Oh, that's, yeah, see?
Lamborghini.
Yeah, Lamborghini. It sounds like Italian, but Ferrari doesn't sound like an Italian word.
Ferrari, yeah, Ferrari is definitely Italian.
Oh, yeah, we could tell who was in the mafia. He part Italian. We could tell, Chuck. We know what you was. You ain't got to keep playing the quiet, nice guy role no more.
Yeah, Ferrari is Italian. I just checked.
Yeah, so none of the luxury cars is made here. Not even Rolls Royce is made here. It's crazy. And if you think about it, when you see those memes that say you never see a Rolls Royce or a Ferrari commercial, that's true. But yeah, people buy the shit out their mugs. So it's crazy. Like, none of the cars that we spend all this money on is made here in the United States. So technically speaking, y'all funding foreign countries when y'all buy these luxury cars. Even a Lexus, like, even though they sold here in America, still the money goes back to a foreign entity. Like, it's crazy, like the way it's all set up like that. But on another note, I really want to kick it with people about this today because I've been seeing it a lot over the past few weeks, Chuck. Like, I've been seeing so many people be in denial over things that it's like, you shouldn't need my advice over that. Like, that should be a decision that you make because that's a decision that only you can make for yourself. Or how do you look at yourself? So I say that to say this. Like, the biggest thing about this thing called life, because it doesn't come with a handbook. It doesn't come with, like, no instructions on how to do this. The only instructions you do have is the instructions of people who are done it before you. So it's a reason why that whole respect your elders thing holds true. And the older you get, you'll realize that. But I say that to say, know who you are. Know who you are. And I'm saying that because over these past few weeks, I've come across a lot of people. I've even had disagreements and falling out with people because I know exactly who I am. And the thing of it is knowing who you are allows you to evolve with the times. A lot of people tend to get stuck in a mentality. You get stuck in an era, or you might get stuck in a moment that happened in your life. And I say that to say some people that come from abusive relationships get stuck in that abusive relationship years after they've moved on. So they box everything and they categorize everything from that abusive relationship. You got people that get stuck in being verbally abused growing up. And it's like you're an adult now. You make your own rules. So know who you are. Never let moments in your life define you as a person unless it's defining you to be a better person. Let's stop letting moments that happened maybe last year, 2 years ago, or in our childhood define how we move now and forward. A lot of people tend to get stuck. And it's just like they stuck in this mentality of, for example, you might have a woman and the past 6 or 7 people that she was with chose to lie about something. Some may have been cheaters. Some may have been just complete liars and sold dreams. You have females that get stuck in that mentality. So it carries over. Now, all has to be that way because of the one. And then, fellas, we do it too. Like, a lot of us do it too. And I use myself as an example. I had to sit back and deprogram and reprogram myself when it comes to interacting with just people, not just females, but just people, because I looked at it like I've seen my own fam do things. So how easy is it for me to trust somebody that's not even my blood when I've seen my own flesh and blood do things that was just not so for the right thing? So I had to retrain myself and understand, okay, you being hypocritical. You can't make everybody this way because of one person or a few people did. Because if that was the case, that would mean the whole world is corrupt. The whole world is corrupt if we judging off what a few people done. So I say that to be like this. In order to be the best version of you, you have to completely know you. See, a good friend I was talking to just last night said something and it stuck out to me when I was at work today trying to think about what I wanted to kick it with y'all about today. I was thinking about it and she said, a lot of times people don't know who they are completely. You have to address your own flaws in order to be able to invite somebody else into your life, or in order to be able to just go about everyday life. If you haven't addressed your own flaws or did that work on yourself, you're going to always project onto other people. And I'm bringing that up and it's hitting home with me because I know somebody that every time I've been around them, they project on other people. And for no reason at all, they project their viewpoints, their ideas, or how they supposed to be on other people. That's not the way to go. Sometimes, if a situation made you feel a certain type of way, why project that onto somebody else? If you felt a certain type of way, that's just like the death of my mother. It made me feel a certain type of way. So far be it from me to meet somebody else and their mother passed, and I project how I felt on them because it might be totally different from them. Their mother might have passed from natural causes, where in my case, it was more of a tragic result. So I speak on that and I say things like this on this show when I'm airing and so many people seeing it, because as a people, we go through so many things on a daily basis. And if we constantly projecting everything that we go through off on everybody else, it's almost like we pulling people into our world. It's almost like the crabs in the barrel thing. Like, just because you go through a bold experience don't mean the very next experience you're going to have is going to be bold as the last one. So get to know who you are. Get to know the things that make you tick. And most importantly, understand this, my cardinal rule: you get what you give. So if you know you just received some negative energy, don't turn around and give that same negative energy off on somebody else. Try to turn that negative into a positive. Because a lot of the times we might come from an argument. We might be at home, have a disagreement with somebody. Then you go outside in the world and you in HEB, somebody like, hey, how you doing? You're like, oh, don't speak to me. That person ain't did nothing to you. So now you're going to throw your negative ass energy off on this.
You know, something that actually works that I've done pretty much my whole life is just when you're by yourself, doesn't matter how you're feeling, just smile.
For real?
Like sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you're like, I really don't want to smile, but you just kind of force yourself to just put on a
I can see that
cheesy
with you,
smile.
Chuck.
And I
see that with
kid
you,
you
Chuck.
not, you feel happier, like
Yeah.
almost immediately.
See, I can see that for you, Chuck. Like Chuck is such a good dude. Like Chuck is like the little brother of the crew. So I could see Chuck being at home and it just be the most fucked up day ever. And
Yeah.
Chuck just smile instead because
Yeah.
with me, here's my secret. What I do, I go home, I sit down, I look at the TV, and then I roll up. I mean, who won't be happy after that? That's what I do, Chuck. Like, I mean, I beam up to Scotty. Like, I just decompress in that way. But no, on a serious note, how I really decompress is like, you have to go home. What I do, I go home, I think about everything that happened on that day, and I think about just exactly how I handled it. And from there, I start thinking about the different things I could have done to make it even that much more better.
Mm-hmm.
So if I encounter them same things again. So it's like I work on a daily basis on being a better version of myself.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like when they say you never stop learning in life, it's very well true. But I'm learning in leaps and bounds the extraordinary guy that I am. Like, so with me, my decompression, it just consists of sitting back in my thoughts and thinking about just how much better I can be the next day. And then I roll up, Chuck. After I done thought about my thoughts, I'm like, yeah, I got that out of the way. Now that
Yeah.
we got that out the way, it's time to roll up. But on a serious note, Chuck, what's really been going on with you over these past 2 weeks? Because, like, I know with all of the different shows that you be a part of and the different things you've been doing, I know you've been seeing some interesting stuff going on in Austin.
Oh yeah, no, it's been pretty busy. Working a lot. The last 2 weekends we've been helping out with Kill Tony, which has been
Okay.
really cool. We were filming for them. Great experience. I'd never actually been to a Kill Tony, so that was really cool. We did some cool stuff today. We filmed like a little commercial ish. It was like a few skits for like a corporate presentation with William Montgomery and David Lucas.
Okay.
That was cool. On my weekends, on my days off, you know, I've been spending time with my family. I've been playing a lot of poker.
You
just
any
to-
good, Lions? You any good at poker?
Oh hell yeah!
You
I'm
are?
actually really good at poker.
So if I took you to Vegas and I put 10,000 on you, we gonna come out that mug.
I think I've never played on such high stakes.
Oh damn, Chuck.
But I'm good. I've got the fundamentals down, and I'm pretty good. I play online and I play in person.
So you
pretty
got a
often.
good. It's just hard to imagine you with a poker face though. Like
Oh yeah.
I think you would look and be like, yeah, he's bluffing, man. Oh, that's your poker face? Oh shit,
Mhm.
yeah, your poker face. Yeah. Now I think I would look and be like, either he's bluffing or he got to use the bathroom. Like one of the two. Either, like seriously though, like all day long. You know what? It's crazy because the fact that I do this every week, and today, for some strange reason, I actually got nervous all over again. Like I was recording my first episode, like, oh my God, I'm gonna stumble over some words until I sat down and I thought about it. Like, come on, man, this what we do. This
Yeah.
like this is what we do on a weekly basis.
You
Like,
remember that first episode?
oh man, that first episode was like scary. It really was. I was scared to the mug because
Yeah.
I kept thinking, I'm gonna get up here and sound stupid. What if I start stuttering and I don't even stutter? Like, what if I forget what I'm gonna talk about? And it's like, how the hell can you forget? It's not like I write it down, but the first
Well, the
episode I
first
did. I
couple
was
you
about to
did.
say the first 3-4 episodes, I had a notepad. I was writing down bullet points and all of that. But it just shows the progression of the show. It just shows like how far I've came and how comfortable I am now with being behind the microphone. And it's just like we sitting here having a conversation. So the things that I be wanting to stress and the points I be wanting to get across, it's just easy. It's an easy thing to do because I mean, it's just stuff that I see. Like for instance, what I really want to get to is this whole cancel thing with the baby. Now I can understand he did. Like I heard the whole thing and
I don't know what you're talking about.
the baby.
Oh, the baby.
The comments he made. The comments he made. Honestly, mm,
I
dare I
actually didn't
say-
see what he said. I just saw that it was like homophobic.
yeah, the comments he made. I wouldn't even classify it as homophobic, Chuck. I think the comments he made was out of pure damn ignorance, but it could have easily be taken offensive just in today's politically correct society. Like, if he would have said a statement like that, like back in the 90s, everybody would have looked at it like, okay, it would have been nothing. But the way the world is today, it was taken way out of context.
Mm.
Basically, I don't even think he was speaking from like a homophobe standpoint. He just was on some heat of the moment, didn't realize what the hell he was doing, and did it, and potentially messed up his whole little career for the time being. And it's only crazy because now I hear it. They trying to cancel Eminem. Some little kids talking about what he said back in 2003. That was 18 fucking years ago. Like, how deep does that run? Because there's a point I'm about to make with all of this. Like, how politically correct is the world? Really? How politically correct is the world when black men and women around the world and around this country is still getting called niggas? So how politically correct is it? And that's the truth. Like I know this be sensitive subjects when I talk about it and get on it. But if the country's so damn politically correct, when do we cancel half of these newscasters and a lot of people that have said the N-word off camera or got caught on a hot mic? They still moving alive and well. So to me, it's almost like even with the cancel culture, there's a target because all I've seen getting targeted. Let's see, R. Kelly's been canceled. Bill Cosby, luckily they overturned it. Who else? The Baby so far. Nick Cannon lost his whole show over a few comments. But when do they cancel anybody for saying niggas or you people? Like, to me, that's damn near worse than just saying niggas. It's you people. Like, you're not talking about the vast majority. So if it's an Asian hate crime, when does it become an African-American hate crime for them to say the N-word? Because you can't say the F word in the LGBTQ community, and I'm smart enough not to say it because I have friends and a couple of family members that's a part of that community, and I love them dearly. So I'm an advocate for all of that. I'm an advocate for the Asians. I'm an advocate for the Hispanics. But my whole thing is, when does this politically correct supposed country start cracking down on the N-word and the treatment of people of color? If it's supposed to be an even playing field across the board. If you're going to cancel this young man's career that made it up out of some trenches, that made it up out of a messed up area of the country, and he doing something positive with his life, you going to cancel his career over a statement. But yet, cops transfer departments or be on administrative leave still getting paid.
That's messed up.
Yeah. And do way more than just make a statement. Like, the dude, when it was blatantly first-degree murder, it got knocked down to second-degree murder, and he only got 22 years, but he eligible for parole after so many, I would suppose. So When? Like, when? And I know that whole agenda came out of left field because on my way over here, I was thinking about that. Just sitting at the light, like, you know what's tripped out? As politically correct as everything is, when do people start getting canceled for targeting people of color? Because there's no way we could say half of the stuff towards any other ethnic group that gets said to us and it's just shrugged off, or it's just, oh, yeah, another instance, and you hear about it and it gets brushed under the rug. Just like the whole, I said it 1,000 times with the whole George Floyd thing. Yeah, we would have made noise about it. But would it have went across as big as it did over the whole world if the whole world hadn't been in a pandemic at the time? If everybody would have been going about their everyday lives, how big of a fuss would have really been made over the George Floyd and Breonna Taylor thing? Because we saw it with Philandro in Minnesota. I'm quite sure it happens all over the country. But the fact of the matter that everybody was at home with nothing better to do at the time but looking at TV, hoping to see a news briefing that we're finally opening back up, that people saw this and it was just like, oh my God. Like, you could not turn a blind eye to the George Floyd situation. You couldn't turn a blind eye to Breonna neither, like when it happened. Or Ahmaud Arbery. So just imagine about the other names that we don't hear because they don't make national news. But this goes on a daily basis. So imagine how many people around the country is suffering from a lost loved one right now at the hands of the authorities who's supposed to protect and serve. But are they protecting, serving us, or are they protecting and serving something else? It's supposedly that nowadays, if we're going to be so politically correct, when do we start canceling people for targeting us? When do we start saying, okay, he insinuated the N word. Let's get his ass out of here. Let's take the money out of his pocket. Because to me, it only seems like they targeting rappers and actors in our community. Because, like, think about it. Who gets canceled? Like, who really gets canceled for saying anything bold about people of color? Like, they passed a whole Asian hate bill immediately after stuff happened to us. We done been getting lynched. We done been getting shot, taken to jail, killed for no damn reason. And what did they do? Oh, we gave y'all a stimulus. We made Juneteenth a national holiday. Who gives a fuck? Give us something other than talk. Give us something other than empty-ass promises. Give us an anti-African American hate bill. Give us some reparations like y'all do to people in Haiti whenever something go on. Do something like that. Cancel half of the people. If they cancel people for saying the N-word, we wouldn't have no Fox, CBS, ABC News. I mean, because you think about it, it's been so many incidents where you read the scandal. She slipped up and said the N-word. The person be on what? A vacation for a month or two. Next thing you know, they on a whole new show making millions again. Like, I only say that because as a former artist myself, to be able to create something when everything around you is like dire straits, to get yourself up out of that, that's a task in itself. But now to have to fight to get your career back over one statement after you work years to get to a certain point, that's just fucked up to me. It is. It's just fucked up to me. And a lot of people may tell me, oh, you don't be politically correct on your show. You use profanity and all that. Who gives a fuck? It's my fucking show. That's the reason I ain't got banned off Facebook yet. And we done talked about some controversial shit. So apparently somebody somewhere, I mean, hell, I even spoke to Mr. Zuckerberg on one episode talking about how we get canceled off Facebook when I've seen a lot of hateful statements towards our people on Facebook. hateful statements towards podcasters. Like, it doesn't, like with me, I want people to be clear. When I speak to my people, when I speak to people of color, don't think I'm one of them people that's just, yeah, I am pro-black, I'm for my people and all of that, but I am for all people. If you got the same mentality that I have and we share some common beliefs, I consider you an ally. I'm not the type of person that looks at people and judge things based off color. I judge things based off character. So if you're a good person, it doesn't matter what color, what ethnicity you are, you with me. But I'm talking to the people, and y'all know who y'all are, that sit at home and say the slick stuff undertones, but when it's in the public view, it be something totally different. When do we start canceling them motherfuckers for saying the slick stuff they say and stop targeting all of our icons and legends and locking them up or ending their careers because they slip up and make a mistake? Because I'm honestly, I saw that, and from what I saw, yeah, he was wrong as hell. He said some ignorant stuff, but should his whole career be over with for some ignorance? It's not like he jumped in the crowd and he beat up somebody. He made a statement on a microphone. So when do we go back to that old saying that sticks and stones break your bones, but fucking words will never hurt you unless you just that damn sensitive? And I'm looking and thinking about it. You know, we always got to give them jewels, Chuck. We got to give people jewels. And I'm going to give y'all a jewel before I get to that's fucking weird moment before we get out of here. But the jewel I got to leave people with is just like this. Sometimes you speak things into the universe and you don't realize the things that you speaking in the universe is manifested in your life because you be so busy steady looking for it instead of embracing what's going on around you. So sometimes you can overlook your blessing by not even realizing what you spoke into existence. If that makes sense to y'all, because it makes sense to me. I know exactly what I mean by that. Like a lot of fellas be wanting, they speak, all I need is that good girl in my life. All I'm missing is a good female in my life. All I'm missing is, and you will overlook that because you steady looking for the good female. You steady looking for the good female and not even noticing that she might already be there. And vice versa. And that's even like people that sit back and be like, oh man, I can't wait to get me a good job. I can't wait to get me a good job. But you never apply for nothing. So it's not like the good job gonna knock on your door like, hey, I've been looking for you all day. Like, to get the results, you speak what you seek till you see what you spoke, but you also got to put in the work. And that's the jewel I'm giving y'all before that's so fucking weird. Like, that was fucking weird moment. Like, Chuck, the other day, I'm riding. So I'm riding and I see this car and I'm like, what the hell is that? Like, is that a dog? But the way it looked, I'm like, what the fuck is that? Because the car was like up a little ways. And it was only me in this car. It was like at night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I finally get up on it. And now I'm like, damn, what kind of animal is that dude? I ride up and I roll my window down. And I didn't realize what it was till it started opening his mouth. Some dude. And he had to be like from way off yonder in the bayou some damn where, but was riding with a full-size gator in his back seat.
What?
I'm like, what the fuck? Like, dude, I didn't even speak on it to nobody. This is a first. You the first person that's hearing this along with everybody else right now. Because I was just like, nobody gonna fucking believe me. I might as well not even tell nobody because ain't nobody gonna believe this shit. And at the time, I was riding and I was chiefing. So at the time, I'm like, I know I'm not tripping like that. Like, I know I'm not. I know it's one thing to be buzzing, but I am not that damn high to where I just seen an alligator in somebody's back seat. I know for a fact. But it was a full I had to speed back up to catch him to make sure
Wow.
and confirm it was a goddamn alligator, Chuck. Like
I wish you had taken a picture.
you know what? At the time, I just kept thinking about that. I should be taking a picture. But my phone was playing music off YouTube and I was vibing to the music until I said, you know, when you see something fucking weird, it's 2 times people turn their radio down.
Yeah.
Either when you like looking at something like what, or for some strange ass reason, and everybody do this. I don't care who you is. I don't care how long your ass been driving. For some reason, when you pull up to back in Parallel Park, you turn your damn music down.
Yep.
I don't know why. Like, what's the connection with that? Like,
Helps you focus. Whenever I'm looking for parking,
Uh-huh.
I turn my radio down.
for real?
Yep.
Like,
Whenever I
like,
need to focus.
I've never understood that, like, why we do that. It's funny because I never noticed I did that till somebody mentioned it. And I realized that one day I pulled up and I stopped and I was finna back in. But as soon as I stopped, it was almost like second nature. I started turning the radio down. And I'm like, why is that? Like, it ain't got nothing to do with me maneuvering the car and into the parking spot. So I guess it's just like one of them things. And before I leave, before I get out of here today, I always have something going on to where it's like, am I with it? Notice the one thing we didn't hear about the Olympics. Other than Allison Felix, you know, she got a medal. The U.S. track team didn't win gold. So now it goes back to the Sha'Carri Richardson girl.
Mm-hmm.
The girl smoked a blunt because a news reporter was the first to tell her that her biological mama had passed away. And to me, that was no harm, no foul. She smoked a blunt in Oregon. It's legal there.
Yep.
One damn blunt. You didn't let her run. But like we were saying, Michael Phelps still got to swim. Usain Bolt still get to run. And they both smoke weed, admittedly. The fact that the United States, they did good, but they didn't do nearly as good as they would have done if they would have let that little girl from Dallas run. So am I with the Olympics? Hell no, I didn't even watch them. I just heard about it through me researching stuff, looking up stuff when I was thinking about this show today. So am I with the fucking Olympics? Hell no, not until y'all do right by people of color, because a lot of them rules that y'all make is targeted towards keeping people of color from getting on that grand stage, because y'all already know what it is when we get there. Like, if it wasn't for us, sports, entertainment, none of this stuff would be the way it is. So the way I look at that is, hell no, I wasn't with the Tokyo Olympics this year. It wasn't going down.
I didn't watch any either.
You didn't watch any of it?
No.
Nah. So what you think about your alma mater this year?
What do you mean?
UT, they actually football team. You know y'all going to the SEC in the next couple
Yeah,
of years.
I don't really care.
You don't
at all.
care, Chuck. You
Nah.
know, you gotta. You're a Texas X. You gotta.
Yeah, but I don't really care about the football that much.
Really? What about the basketball team? Soccer, baseball, water
Nah.
polo.
Nope.
What if UT had a poker team?
Probably wouldn't care.
You just done with Texas, huh? You just done with UT. Like,
Pretty much.
I got my 4 years up out of y'all.
Yep.
I'm out of here. Like,
Exactly.
okay, I can dig that. Like, it's always a pleasure when me and Chuck get together and come on here, because I know I'm looking at it. We getting near that time, like, where it's time for me to leave one studio and go to another studio. Like, yeah, I've been studioing it up here lately, Chuck, because I got a little surprise coming for everybody.
All right.
Like, yeah, I got the surprise coming in the next couple months, and I wasn't gonna mention it, but I guess since I slipped up right now, yeah, I'm working on a 7-track EP that I got
Ooh,
coming out,
nice.
and one of the songs that's gonna be on there is like, it actually kind of been getting a little promo over these past
All
couple
right.
months, because we play it at the end of the show. Yeah, Granny's House, one of the tracks that's on there,
Let's go.
and it's a few others. Like, so yeah, I guess the cat's out the bag. A lot of people been fiending for me to get back behind the microphone in the other capacity that I get behind the microphone in. So I'm gonna treat y'all to a little something before this year over with. So yeah, 7 tracks. I don't even know the title of it yet. Like it's an untitled,
I'm excited.
I guess, thus far. So yeah, I mean, I need people to be ready for it, and they need to start getting ready for the Daquan clothing line. Ladies, I'm doing it just for y'all. It's summer dresses, it's leggings, it's sports bras, it's short sets, it's halter tops, it's tumblers, water bottles. So y'all be on the lookout and be ready for the Daquan clothing line and Daquan accessories and the merch to be launching a little bit later on this month. But as usual, Chuck, once me and you get in the booth, it's always fun. It's always a pleasure. Y'all tuned in again. Next week, I'll be live on location from my special spot that I go to every week.
All right.
We doing something different next week, you know. So next week, if you're in the Austin area and you around town, next Wednesday, stop down to SoCo Live in between 6 and 7. You'll catch the Jackson Report down there. We're going to be down there filming on location. So I just want to go down there and kick it with the people and introduce us to the whole food court because it's a nice... You ain't been there yet, huh, Chuck? It's a nice food court. And, like, they got some of everything down there now. Like,
all right.
It's more than one truck down there. So
Sweet.
I'm going to have to make sure I'm prepared so we can bounce you around and feed you, get you some good food in your soul. So it's been a pleasure, y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in. It's been another great episode. Good night, everybody.
Life's a game, but I figured it out. Sitting on the steps at Granny House. This world is strange, but I picture my route. Sitting on the steps at Granny House. Life's a game, but I figured it out. Sitting on the steps at Granny House. This world is strange, but I picture my route. Sitting on the steps at Granny House. I grew up on the block with all the pimps and the crooks. Nerd with it, kept my pen in the book. Oh, I'ma be off the hook. They saw me write it, but I wouldn't let